We just studied the Adhikar Sutram 213, Parakadarat Samasaha, which sets the topic, the heading of Samasaha, all the way down to the Sutram 2238, which is the last Sutram in the second quarter of the second chapter of the Ashtadhyayi. Let us now take the next Sutram in the Ashtadhyayi order, which is 214. Saha Supa. Vritya Sutram says Sup Supa Saha Vasamasyate, which means that a term ending in a sup affix optionally compounds with another term ending in a sup affix. And this implies that in the classical language, a Tingantam Padam cannot enter into a compound. It's a very important point to remember. Whenever we consider a compound, we should remind ourselves that a Tingantam Padam, a Padam which is formed using one of the Ting affixes, tip, tash, g, etc., cannot enter into a compound. It cannot be compounded. So please keep that in mind. There are several notes over here. Let us take the first note. It says that traditionally this sutram has been split. It is called Yoga Vibhagaha. Yoga means sutram in this context. So Yoga Vibhagaha means splitting a sutram into two parts. In this case, Saha and Supa. This is done in order to use the first part Saha to justify the formation of those compounds which contain a Tingantam Padam. Now we just said that we cannot compound a Tingantam Padam, but such compounds are seen only Chandasi in the Veda and not in the classical language. Since we are studying the classical language only, there is no need for us to split this sutram. So if you look at the Mahabhashyam or Siddhanta Kaumudi, you will see this sutram being subject to Yoga Vibhagaha, splitting. We will not get into that because the splitting is necessary only in order to justify compounds containing a Tingantam Padam, and that is only Chandasi in the Veda. Okay, the second note says Sup is the Pratyaharaha containing the 21 nominal case endings from Su to Sup listed in the Sutram 412, Swaujas, Samau, Chastabhyam, Bhis, so on and so forth, ending in Sup. So we take the beginning Su and the ending letter Pa to form the Pratyahara Sup. It's kind of obvious, but we should not confuse the Sup as being just the seventh case plural. It is not that. Sup here stands for the Pratyahara Sup, so it includes all the 21 affixes prescribed by 412. Now the Vritti of this sutram says Sup Supa Saha Vasamasyate. Anuvritti of Sup runs down from the Sutram 212, Subhamantrite Parangavat Sware, to all the rules down to 2229, Charte Dvandvaha. Hence this Sutram 214 also has the Anuvritti of Sup coming down from 212. That's how we get the meaning Sup Saha Supa. Now one special thing about this Sutram 214 is that it is interpreted as a Adhikara Sutram as well as a Vidhi Sutram. As a Adhikara Sutram, meaning a governing rule, it sets the topic. It exerts its influence on all the rules which prescribe compounding of one term with another term. This section goes from this Sutram 214 down to 2222. Now a small observation here is that we said that the Anuvritti of Sup runs down from 212 down to 2229, while the Adhikara of Saha Supa runs down only to 2222. Now why is that? What about the rules from 2223 to 2229? Why don't we need Saha Supa for those rules? Without going into too many details right now because we have not studied those rules, let us take a very brief look at this section from 2223 to 2229. 2223 Shesho Bahuvrihi is the Adhikara Sutram. It is not a Samasa Vidhayaka Sutram. So there is no question of needing Sahasupa in that Sutram. The next Sutram 2224 contains the word Anekam. So Anekam Subantam Samasyate, which means that many terms ending in a sup affix compound together. So compound is not being done one term with another term. In general, many terms compound together, and hence we can say anekam subantam samasyate. So now you see why we need only the anuvritti of sup and not sahasupa. Though the final effect is the same, that the terms which are compounding have to be ending in a sup affix, which means that a tingantam padam cannot enter into a compound. Now the anuvritti of anekam runs down all the way down to 229. So in all these rules, in general, many terms may compound together. Hence it doesn't make sense to bring down the adhikara of sahasupa. All we need is the anuvritti of sup from 212 to get the desired meaning. Okay, let's come back to our note over here. It says that as a Vidhi Sutram, 214 prescribes optional compounding between one term ending in a sup affix with another term ending in a sup affix. Now, why do we say optional? Optional because the compounding doesn't have to be done. In general, we may also have a sentence expressing the same meaning. That's why we say optional. Now, why do we need this sutram to function as a Vidhi Sutram, as a prescription rule? Don't we have the rules all the way down to 229 prescribing compounding? And why do we need this sutram to do double duty like that? The reason is that when we encounter an accepted usage, shishta prayogaha, of a compound which does not fall in any one of the designated categories like avyayi bhavaha, which starts from 215, avyayi bhavaha, etc., then we have to use this sutram 214 to justify the compounding. So this sutram basically is used to justify miscellaneous compounds. A compound thus formed is called a kevala samasaha or a samanya samasaha or a sup-supa or sahasupa. The most common is sup-supa. Please make a special note of this, because when you read a commentary or bhashyam, the bhashyakara will say sup-supa. You should immediately know that he is referring to this sutram 214. They may not mention the sutram. The commentary will just say sup-supa iti samasaha. But we have to understand immediately that what's being referred to is this sutram 214 functioning as a Vidhi Sutram. And it's being done because the compound is not in any one of the designated categories like avyebhavaha, tatpurushaha, etc. Now before taking examples, let us look at one more note over here which says that vrityarthavabodhakam vakyam vigraha. The sentence, the vakyam, which explains the meaning of the vritti, the integrated or aggregated word form, is called vigraha, meaning dissolution or analysis. Recall that we have already seen that there are 5 kinds of vritti: krudanta vritti, tadhita ghatita vritti, samasa vritti, ekashesha vritti, and sanadyanta dhatu vritti. Right now our topic is the samasa vritti. So the sentence which breaks down or explains or analyzes or dissolves the compound into its constituents is called vigraha. This will of course become very clear as we study more compounds. For every compound we will be doing a vigraha. The note further says, Searcha laukiko laukikascheti dvidha, which means that vigraha is of 2 kinds. Laukikaha, which means common or popular, which means one which is used in the regular language, in the spoken language. And second is alaukikaha, sometimes also called shastriyaha, meaning a technical breakdown. This technical breakdown is done to do a grammatical analysis of the compound. It is not a sentence as such which can be used in the spoken language. That's why it's called alaukikaha. Now there is a alaukika vigraha, a technical breakdown for every compound. But on the other hand, a laukika vigraha only exists for those compounds where the compounding is optional. Now in general we said compounding is optional, but in some cases compounding is nityam, invariable, obligatory. In those cases there is either no laukika vigraha at all, or if there is one, it has to be a asvapada laukika vigraha, constructed using words which are not actually present in the compound. Asvapada. For example, we soon be looking at a compound yatha shakti. Shakti, meaning Shaktim Anatikramya, without transgressing one's ability or strength. So as per one's strength. The compound is Yatha Shakti. Vigraha Vakyam says Shaktim Anatikramya. You can clearly see that the Vigraha Vakyam has to be formed using words which are not actually in the compound. We will see more details of such compounds later. The important point is that whenever we have a Nitya Samasaha, there is either no Laukika Vigraha at all, or if there is one, it has to be a Aswapada Laukika Vigraha. Okay, with that background, let us now take an example. Udaharanam. Purvam bhutaha equals bhuta purvaha, meaning that which has occurred or been before. This compound does not fall in any of the designated categories like avyabhavaha, tatpurushaha, bahuvrihi, etc. So therefore we have to invoke this sutram sahasupa as a vidhi sutram to justify this compound. The Laukika Vigraha is as shown above, which is Purvam Bhutaha. The Alaukika Vigraha, the technical analysis, is as follows. Purva Dvitiya Ekavachanam, Bhuta Su, Prathama Ekavachanam. Here Purvam is an adverb. That is why we say Purva Recall the Vartikam which we have studied. Kriya Visheshananam Karmatvam Napumsakatvam Ekavachanantatvam Cha Ishyate. That is why we have put the neuter accusative singular. Ditya ekvachanam napumsakalinge. So we have the technical breakdown here. Purva bhuta su. Now recall the sutram 1246, which we know very well. Krit tadhita samasascha, which assigns the designation, the sanya pratipadikam. Since this is a compound, it gets the designation pratipadikam by 1246. And now by 2471, supo dhatu pratipadika yoho, which also we have studied. The sup affixes, in this case and su, which are inside the pratipadikam, take the look elision. So we get Purva Bhuta. Now the question comes, which one of these two terms, Purva or Bhuta, should be placed in the prior position in the compound? Normally we invoke the sutram 2230, which says Upasarjanam Purvam. And we know by the sutram 1243, Prathama Nidrishtam Samasa Upasarjanam. In the present situation, that which is Prathama Nirdishtam is the term sup, which comes as anuvritti from 212. Now, Purva as well as Bhuta Su is a Subantam Padam. So now both are competing for the Purva Nipataha. So here 2230 cannot help us because both the terms have the designation Upasarjanam. Now what do? Luckily Panini himself has used this compound in a sutram 5353. Bhuta Purve Charat. So therefore in the compound the term Bhuta is placed in the prior position so as to be in conformity with the way in which Panini himself has used the compound in the sutram 5353 Bhuta Purve Charat. So we take the pramanam from that sutram and decide that Bhuta has to be placed first to get the form Bhuta Purva. But in general, when there is no rule to tell us which term is to be placed in the prior position in a compound, we have to make the decision in accordance with accepted usage. Shishta Prayogaha. So we have to see how the scholars, the Shishtaha, have formed such miscellaneous compounds and then take the clue from that when deciding which term is to be placed in the prior position in the compound. Okay, now Bhuta Purva is an adjective. In the masculine gender, Pullinge, the Pratipadikam Bhuta Purva declines like the Pratipadikam Rama, like Rama Shabda. So Prathama Ekvachanam is Bhuta Purvaha and so on. Now similarly in the Bhagavad Gita we have the famous verse Adrishta Puram Rishitosmi Drishtva Bhayena Cha Pravyathitam Manome and so on. So Arjuna says, I am excited to see that which has not been seen before. Adrishta Purvam. So Purvam Adrishtam. Similar compound. This is also formed as a Sup-Supa compound using 214 as a Vidhi Sutram. Another example from the Gita, chapter 12, verse 7. Tesham aham samuddharta mrityu samsara sagarat bhavami nachirat Partha Maya Veshita Chetasam. Nachirat is a compound. This is not a Tatpurusha compound, because as we see later, if we form a Tatpurusha compound using the Sutram 226 Nyay, then we get the form Achirat, because the beginning letter Na of this particle Nyay is elided by the Sutram 6373. No lopo nanyaha. We'll be studying all this shortly, so we don't have to go into too many details, but the point here is that Nachirat cannot be formed as a Tatpurusha compound. We have to compound the Avyayam Na, not Nyay, but Na with Chirat to get the form Nachirat. And since this is a miscellaneous compound, it doesn't fall in any of the designated categories like Avyabhavaha, Tatpurushaha and so on. Therefore, we have to use this Sutram 214 Sahasupa as a Vidhi Sutram to justify the compounding. So, this is a very important Sutram. We will encounter a number of situations where a compound is miscellaneous and we need 214 to justify the compounding. And the usual warning is that we should not blindly take any Subantam with another Subantam and just start compounding recklessly using the Sutram 214. It has to be as per Shishta Prayogaha, the accepted usage of the scholars, because Vyakaranam is for Shishta Prayoga Samarthanartham, to analyze accepted forms, not to just create random forms.